So just to repeat, how valuable is the biomechanical analysis to you as a coach?
I think it's very valuable. It's certainly a resource that I utilise as much as I can with the help of University of Ulster and with Eric. It offers me a deeper level of understanding of the golf swing, and it provides facts and good quality information for me to base my teaching on and the assumptions you make about a player when you're working with them.
Is there any part of the swing which seems to be brought up more than other instances where you think that needs improving?
Probably with the 6 or 7 players that I've had and been involved with down here at Jordanstown, the setup is one of the areas we've looked at a lot. With their angles, how they start, their lines of how they line up, and transition I think is very important as well. Sometimes players recover the club and they use their transition to create a better position through the ball, or it seems that the more repeatable or consistent players tend to have the club working in a very normal or orthodox fashion, so they don't need to make up as much through the swing. So it's been enlightening for me to see that, how guys swing in different ways and use their transition, both to create power but also to recover where the golf club is.
How crucial is it for you to interpret the data and then package it in a comprehensible and understandable way to the golfer?
I think that's vital and that's key, and that's where Eric has been a big help to me down here, in that I can come down once the data has been gathered and the testing is over. Then I come down with the player not present, and I can talk to Eric and we can discuss, and he can highlight to me the areas that he sees, and I can try and equate that into my language, if like my coaching language, which then I can distill down again and give to the player. So it's like all of these resources, they're only as good really as the communication that goes with them. If you can get clarity with the information, then the information is very usable.
And how do you actually implement the changes? So once you get the information from Eric, you find an area or an aspect of the swing you want to improve. How do you actually go about making those necessary changes? Is it through drills? Is it through a swing change? Is it through conditioning?
Well, I think it's down to how the player learns best. Obviously, with the guys I've brought down here to utilise this, I have known them, I've had a rapport built up with them, so they've trusted my judgment to come down here and for this to be of value to us. And Eric would know most of them as well, so with the help of the university and with my knowledge of the player and their learning style and the things that have worked for them in the past and haven't worked, then you can tailor an approach that you think, well, how best can we get these facts or this information to be digestible by them? So looking at the way they play as a whole, and it's just really feeding in another source of information that's of use to them. Again, the information is only of use. I would call it nearly like a very sophisticated teaching aid, in that it helps you coach a little bit better and gives you a better quality of information.
I asked this question to Eric and Michael, and I'm sort of well interested in marginal gains. Can you quantify exactly how much an improvement the biomechanical analysis can make to the development of a golfer?
I couldn't quantify it, no. I think with certain players that I've worked with alongside Eric, he has fed back to me, or I've asked questions that between the two of us, the information has shown us exactly what I've seen as a coach. Then there's 2 or 3 players again that Eric has brought or highlighted new areas to me that I thought, oh, do you know what, now that I look at that, I think that's a very valid point and that's something we could go forward with. So maybe to them, the analysis has been more beneficial than the other guys. So I couldn't really generally put a number on it, but it certainly has been, to all the players, it has been useful, because it either A, strengthens what I've seen, and it gives me confidence then to know that my eye has picked up something that actually biomechanically is unsound or is very efficient and works, or B, that Eric and the data has highlighted something that maybe could be done better in a biomechanical world, that then we could, if we think it's important, or if it can be repeated, or even if it can be brought into their game, then it's worthwhile. So it's hard to put a number on it, but I think it just depends on the person, the player you're working with, and how relevant the information that comes out of the testing, how well it can actually be applied.
As a modern day coach, how tough is it to keep track of all the latest technology?
Well, I think you've got to move with the technology. That's certainly something I've looked at in other sports, and other of the top golf coaches that I would look up to, my peers, if you like. I've noticed how they, didn't matter what age they are, they seem to embrace the latest ideas and innovations. So I knew I had to do that as well. And from my background, having studied here and played golf myself at university, and with the relationship I had with Eric, it was easy for me, or a natural fit for me, to come down and then find out a bit more about how the whole thing works, and then utilise the whole program down here, because obviously they're very much involved in research down here, as well as helping golfers and developing golfers. So it's a many-fingered approach down here, and the work they do I think is tremendous, and I'm very lucky actually to have access to it to try and both enhance me as a coach and my education, and also more importantly to help the guys I'm working with, because most of the guys that I have down here are either elite amateurs or they're trying to play for their living or playing for their living, so it's as important to them to get their information as it is for me and my job.
Do you think there are any limitations to it, and where do you think it could possibly improve in the future?
I don't really know about the improvements because I'm only really getting started with it now, and I'm seeing the benefits of it with certain players, so that'll be more easily answered in the future. The limitations, I don't think there are. I think if you treat it as I said, a very, very sophisticated training aid and don't rely all your hopes and dreams on it, I think if you use it to help you make a decision, not let it make the decision for you, because as a coach, certainly I've had the most success whenever I've used my instincts to make the decisions. In other words, what all my combined experience as a player, as a coach, what I've learned, facts like what we've got down here, if you add it all together and make your judgment based on that, that's where I've found that the players have developed on best. So I'd never let something come in and totally change the way I think, but you can always learn and you can embrace these modern ideas to try and give you a more educated opinion, and also to make sure that as you're taking on players' games and you have the responsibility for that, then that you're taking the best information from what's available around you. I think that's very important. That's the responsibility a coach has when guys who have a lot of talent come to you and they want to package that talent better and make a living from it. That it's your responsibility to go ahead and make sure they've got the best environment around them in which to improve.
Very good answers. Thank you very much for your time.
No problems, it's fine.
Perfect, guy.